Hello, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Nice day out, 75 and sunny. And let's see, what do we want to talk about? Feel free. Gold. The derivative is back up, 23.26. So yesterday it was all down, and today it's all up. Yeah, that, as I showed you on eBay, it's all bullshit because prices don't do this. Montana card's always 110, 110, 110, 110, 110, not 2330, then 2300, and so it was 2297, and then now it's up to 2330, and probably go to 2360. So we need the end of this. We need this to blow up already and get to a eBay free market where you don't have the derivative making it look like there's more supply out there, and then going off of that to get the real value of gold and silver, which again is in dollar. Like you'll see the Montana card at 125,000. I don't think you'll see gold at 125,000 in dollars. I think you'll see it in purchasing power. It'll buy you the Montana card, but I don't think the dollar will be there long enough to get gold at 125. I just think gold will be worth, it'll buy you 125. So that's gold today, 23.26, silver 29. So tired. I slept like a log. My alarm went off at 7:45. I texted the girls. I went back to sleep till 10 o'clock. Just a real tired day. I got up early the other day. Sunday, I don't think I slept too well. Anyway, so that's what you have in the derivative world. So it's up a little bit today. So it's just a game that hopefully ends soon. Anyway, so let's get into baseball. Something that's not price fixed or fixed. All right. So let's see what do we got. All right. Upcoming the night games. Miami at Philly. We 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 got Philly for 5 units. We got Trevor Rogers for Miami, 1-8 with the 4.90 against Zach Wheeler, 9-4 to 2.73. So we like Philly there. Texas and Baltimore, John Gray, 3-3 with the 3 ERA. Corbin Burns, 8-3 with the 2.35. And we went with Baltimore under 7.5. Because this John Gray with the 3 ERA looks good. Hey, Real D, good afternoon. The Yanks in Toronto, Rodon, 9-4 with the 3.86. Barrios, 6-6 with the 3.43. We didn't play the game. Hard to play this one. You just, you don't know. Do you assume over or under with the 3.5 ERAs? Cincinnati, St. Louis, Abbott for Cincinnati, 6-6 with the 3.4. Miles McCullough, 6-6 with the 4.68. Again, the over under 7.5. I would think it would be over. I didn't play it. Where we got 627. Okay. Cleveland. All right. Cleveland, KC. Ben Lively, 7-3 with a 3.03 against Michael Wakaka, 4-6 with the 4.07. I went Cleveland here. Waka's pitched pretty good. I just think Lively's a little bit better, and Waka's, he gives up 3-4 runs a game. Detroit and California, Flaherty, 5-4, 2.92 against Davis Daniel, 0-0 with an 0-0-0, and I took Detroit under 8. but I didn't bet it. Davis Daniel. He's pitched 3 games. He's pitched 3 innings, gave up a 2-hit shutout, 4 innings, a 3-hit, 3 runs, and 5 innings, a 2-hit shutout. So either he gives you a 2-hit shutout or he gives up 3 in his 3 games. So not enough info. All right. So tonight I have Cleveland 3 units, Baltimore under 7, 7.5 for 5. I got Philadelphia for 5 units. Earlier, I played Atlanta, and I played the Cubbies under 7.5. Atlanta's losing 1-0 in the second, and the Cubbies are up 3-0. Go Cubbies! Beat the Niners. That's all I got. I got 5 games today. The Cubbies under 7.5. Atlanta, Philly, Cleveland, Baltimore under 7.5, and then I didn't bet Detroit under 8 because it's Detroit. And you got to be careful. Detroit is traveling to California, so it's a long flight. They can't hit anyway. What's the difference? The only other game going is Minnesota 8-0 over Arizona. Again, this is the problem. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. So with 2 weak pitchers, here it's 8-0. So the over probably is good. If you bet it under, who knows? All right, yesterday we hit Philly 5 units. We hit KC. We lost Houston over 8.5. We won with Washington over 7.5. We hit Baltimore. We lost the Yankees. The Boston game was postponed. The Atlanta under was a push, and that was it. So we hit 5 units on Philly. We lose 5 units on Houston. We hit 5 units on Washington. We split Baltimore and the Yankees 3-3, so that's even. Philly, Houston's even. So we win 5 units on Washington, leaving the Atlanta and the Boston games that we picked that got postponed. So not much you can do there. So we did make 5 units. And today we'll see what we do. Overall, I make a few units every day, which I think is all you can ask for on a daily basis. So again, if we go through the stats, I don't know how much, so now I'm doing batting practice ERA, and let's see, the best, or bullpen ERA, and the best, Cleveland 235, and I don't know if you have anybody under 3. Yeah, that's the only team under 3. So is it meaningful? I don't know. And then let's look at the bad ones. The White Sox 466, the Cubs 444, Colorado 524, Detroit 404, KC 442, California 520. Most of them are in the 3s. Pittsburgh 471, Frisco 442, Texas 456, Tampa Bay 425, Toronto 449. So you can see the problem with baseball, right? They have all these pitchers. Most of them are not professionals. And I mean, you're talking about basically the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, and these guys are giving up, and most of them are giving up 4 runs, 3 to 4 runs in 3 innings. So how do you bet that? It's extremely difficult, in my mind, because you don't know what's meaningful, and you don't know what the starter. So you've got the game broken into the starting pitcher and then the reliever. Thanks to these idiot managers, you're always going to have the reliever because they're not going to let them go 9 innings. Even with no hitters, they don't go 9 innings. So it's really ridiculous. I don't really know what the deal is with the starter. If he's like the guy in Houston, Bianco, 7-inning no-hitter against the Tigers. Why aren't you pitching him in the 8th and 9th innings? Oh, he's going 3 times through the lineup. God forbid we can't do that. Or what is the problem? So instead, you dish out a reliever who, we got 10 relievers, so we might as well use one, even though most of them suck, as you can see. See, in the good old days, with the Willie Mazes and the Mantles and the Nolan Ryans, even in the 80s, Jack Morris, these guys would pitch all 9 innings. Maybe they'd go 8, and then you'd bring the one reliever in the 9th inning, and he'd clean house in the 9th inning every day. So you had 4 or 5 relievers that were just there if the pitcher got hurt or if he was really sucking, and after 5, 6 innings, you had to pull him, and then you'd have a reliever for 7th and 8th, and then your 9th inning guy. And now I don't see it at all. I don't see a 9th inning guy. Most of these guys suck. And this is the problem. When you are gambling on we'll get gambling into this. When you're gambling on this, how do you gamble? You want to gamble. I was sitting at a poker table in Vegas talking to a guy, I used to be a professional football player, and I played stupid. Oh, really? How did you do that? He said, and the secret was I would find the best player, and I'd bet on the best player. And I'm going, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, but I just shut up. I pretended I don't do it. And he's trying to bet the best player. And that's where but it's becoming bad, like baseball. You have a few good pitchers, like Atlanta today is a big bet because Chris Sale's going. So Atlanta's a 5 unit. I got Chris Sale going. But really, that's kind of what the problem is. So how do you bet this stuff? And every day. So every day I'm betting, and I'm winning a little bit, right? If I bet 6 games, some are 5 unit now and some are 3, and occasionally a 7 unit bet. And my wonderful lock with the Tigers. I won't do that again. That's like locking the Lions. It never happens. The most inconsistent teams because they're not really that good. And so when you're gambling, you want to bet on, Verlander or Chris Sale now, or the guy on Houston, Rodon, or that's what you want to bet on. Is because they're good, they're consistent, you know what you're getting. But hell, you don't. The problem is you go through maybe 6 innings, and then you got 3 idiot relievers who all suck, who all give up 3, 4, 5. It's funny is one day I'll go in and I'll look at a box score, and the bullpen's 5 ERA, 5 ERA, 4 ERA. Then the next day, same team, and it's the guy with the 2-0, the 1-0, the 1-0. And then the bullpen pitches 5 innings of no-hit ball. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you see it's 3-2, and then the manager brings out the guy with the 7 ERA, and he gives up 5 runs. And you lose because the manager's got his head up his ass. It's really ridiculous how bad baseball's got, how stupid it is, why you would keep going to have 15 guys in your bullpen, and most of them suck. I mean, there's very few that are any good. Of your starters, you might have 1 ace, and then the other 4 have like 4 or 5 ERAs. You got Chris Sale going today, okay. But you got a Verlander, you got the other guy in Houston, Bianco. The Yankees have a guy, but then you have a guy with a 2-1-1. So if we look at Corbin Burns on Baltimore at the 2.35. He's 8-3. Okay. Can you trust he's going to pitch a good game? No. You've got Zach Wheeler, Philadelphia, 9-4 at the 2.73. Can you trust he's going to pitch a good game? No. The Yankees and Baltimore and Toronto, you got Carlos Rodon, 9-4 at the 3.86. Jose Barrio, 6-6 at the 3.43. You have no idea if that game's going to be low scoring or high scoring. You have no idea if New York's going to win or Toronto's going to win. I mean, this is just totally ridiculous. So this isn't how you want to bet. It's too many variables. It's too inconsistent. So it's really hard to bet this. Like I said, Verlander's going, who can you trust? It becomes a trust issue. I tell you, I'd rather have my money in Bernie Madoff. At least I knew I was getting a return. Or as we talk about gold and silver, at least we know the return's there. So the first thing is you got to realize everything's gambling. And what we've stumbled on in baseball is how pathetic it is and how hard it is to bet because it's so pathetic. You have terrible managers, terrible GMs, except for Dave Dombrowski. Philadelphia, I think, is the only team with 300 hitters, and the manager's smart enough to bat on second, third, and fourth. They always get you 4 or 5 runs a game because they always get hits batting second, third, and fourth. And outside of that, you look at the Tigers, they don't have a 300 hitter. They don't have a 280 hitter. It's like 250, 260. And the 260 hitter is some new guy you never heard of. And as soon as he goes 0 for 10, as soon as he has a bad series, he's hitting 220. And then you got a bunch of guys hitting 210, 200, 190. What is that? How are you a GM of a team and you put this piece of shit product on the field? And then you listen to the radio guys. Well, we got to give him 2 years. It's not his fault. It's Al Avila's and bullshit. You're the GM. My first priority is getting a couple of 300 hitters and getting rid of anybody that hits under 220. You're gone. You're out. Maybe you have one guy, but that's it. I mean, if you can't hit 250, you don't belong in the major leagues. And if you're hitting 180, you're definitely. I don't want walkers. See, that's the other thing. The Moneyball bullshit. Well, he can walk. Yeah, that's good. The Tigers are losing 5-1, and the guy's got, he's hitting 180, but he walked. Yeah, that really helped them. You don't need a walk at that point. You need a hit, and you need a double or a triple or a home run. You need runs, which you're not going to get. So the whole stupid theory of the walks and let's foul ball. Let's hit a bunch of foul balls and we'll walk. We'll tire out the pitcher. Yeah, that really works. And that's the problem. Where's all the 300 hitters? Oh, well, we've trained them to all hit home runs or strike out, or they're walking. Okay, I don't want those players. I'm going to go to colleges that have 300 hitters. UCLA, Stanford, Cal, Florida's, the Texases, and I'll avoid. I would never draft a high school player. What a waste that is. You have no idea. He's pitching against high school players. You don't know if he's any good or not. At least consistency. And then all my players are going to go into AAA. And when they hit 300, then I'll bring them up. And if they can't hit 300 in AAA, I'll go find somebody who can. But how do you gamble on it? It's ridiculous. Like I said, football, we can bet Mahomes. See, football is so much better because you're betting Mahomes and Burrow. You know they're going to play every game. Baseball, you don't know. I got, Miles McCullough, 6-6 with the 4.68. Hey, Greg and John, what the hell is that? How am I going to bet on this guy? against Andrew Abbott, 6-6 with a 340. And what do we think the score is going to be? We have no idea. And then the over-under 7.5, so they don't know. Mets swept the Yankees. Well, it happens. The Mets have been pretty hot, but the Yanks play better at home because they got that short left field porch, or is it right field porch? And but that's baseball. You don't have these real good Mantle and DiMaggio and Jeter aren't there anymore. So you got Aaron Judge, who he's hitting 300 again. But I mean, this is the problem. You have very few 300 hitters, which is atrocious. You have very few pitchers, which is atrocious. I seem to be seeing a few more, like Corbin Burns on Baltimore, 8-3 with a 2.35. But again, he's not going 7-8 innings, and then you pull out a solid reliever for the ninth. I mean, that's ridiculous. Where they're coming up with 100 pitch count is ridiculous. I mean, why that number? Oh, there was a study done? Yeah, like global warming or all that bullshit, which is not factual. It's just intended to get to the number they wanted to get to. Judge is having a good year. He has 30 homers. He's the only Yankee. Well, there's a guy, Soto, I guess, who's been hitting the ball good. And they got another home run hitter, but I can't remember his name. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. There's no Mickey Mantle, there's no DiMaggio, there's no Derek Jeter, and this is the problem in the league. So looking at all my averages, let's look at batting average. This is embarrassing. I got Arizona at 251, Baltimore at 253, Boston at 254, Colorado at 250, Cleveland 245, Houston 262. Altuve got his average up, and Bregman's starting to get his average up. And KC 244, the Dodgers 257, Milwaukee 255, the Yankees 250, Philly 258, and San Diego 260. And then I got a bunch of 230s and a bunch of 220s. What is that? What is that? These guys, okay, you got a few teams hitting 260. Let's look at the worst. Seattle's hitting 221. Oakland's hitting 221. Miami 232. Detroit 232. Cincinnati 227. The Cubbies 230. The White Sox 219. How does the team hit 219? And the GM has a job and the manager has a job. I mean, this is the problem. And the problem is, so you say, oh, the White Sox hit 219. I'm going to bet against them. And they score 7 runs. And the 180 hitter gets through. I mean, it's insanity. It really is. Do I like Roger Maris? He was okay. He was no Mickey Mantle. I was 2 years old in 1961, so I never really saw him play. That's all he had was that one good year. So I can't say I never saw him. Not like Mickey Mantle or Koufax or Bob Gibson. These players of the era, Frank Robinson, Pete Rose. I like those guys a lot better, but they played for you. They were just coming up. He came up. He started in the 50s, and in 61, he hit 61 home runs. So you really didn't see him much. You know what he did because Babe Ruth hit 60, so he hit 61, and Mickey hit 55. He got sick or hurt, and so that's what you had. But I probably like Mark McGwire better because he hit 70 some home runs or whatever, and Barry Bonds. I mean and then those players are discounted because they did steroids, so you don't even see them. So I mean I don't have anything negative against Roger. I do have his 1961 Topps card. This thing's worth $1 million. It's absolutely got to be PSA 10. This card is so strong and centered. I got a winner there. That's a card I might get greeted. And even if it's a 9, it's still a lot. And I got a Jim Brown 1959 card that even if it's a 9, it's like 25 grand. So it's a real nice card. Those cards I kind of want to get graded, and we will see. But I'm waiting for the gold era. So I did my thing on the Roman Empire versus the Roman Republic. I didn't get a lot of views yet, but see, I get a little nervous when I get 10 people watching it. I don't care, and then I assume I'm going to get 50 people at night or after the next day or two. So I'm waiting for that to pick up on those. I did the other day, but I'm a little disappointed because it was such a good video and really hits the nail home on what's going on today. Where they inflated, they had corruption, they went to an empire, which is like a dictator. Before they had the Senate, where you got elected and you served one term and that was it. And there was 2 guys, so nobody would be too powerful. And that's why Rome worked. They had the right idea, and more people should follow it. And I think I see too many monarchs, not really fair. There's more elections, so they're trying to go more to the republic in Europe, but it's all bullshit because they're all fixed by George Soros. So what good's an election if it's fixed? It's one thing the Romans didn't do. They probably didn't fix the elections. Well, after that, it was just, Nero and these guys were just, they took over as the emperor. They weren't really voted in. Or the emperor then said, Caligula, you're going to take over. It's just too funny. But that's how it got ruined, was the too much socialism, too much government, too big government, because it costs money, which you're stealing from the marketplace, and then you can't sustain it. Then it gets too big and too big. But it's, we work and we pay tax. That's what you got. That's all you got. That's the way the market works. We go to work, we get paid, we pay a tax, then we go into the market and buy things. We want apples and oranges, and that's how the market goes. But you can't take all the money out of the market and give it to people who don't really earn it. Oh yeah, you're hungry, we'll give you food. And that's really the problem with it. Greg and John. Judge had 62. You think his card is worth it? Judge had 62. Not yet, no. The NBA draft was horrible. I didn't know one player. Why would you waste your time on an NBA draft? They were drafting players from France now. I can't get into that, where it's, college used to be good, right? You knew Jordan, you knew Magic and Bird and those guys. Now you don't know anybody. Not only that, I don't even watch it. I was watching this thing on YouTube and they were saying how bad basketball, how nobody watches it. They've made it so socialist and so woke that nobody wants to watch it. And then the ratings are way down. And I know it was on TNT. It wasn't even on NBC. And I think until the finals, I couldn't watch a game. I got TNT, but I don't get it. It's not in my Spectrum. And I don't even have a package. I just have Spectrum. So I have TNT on my Roku, and I click it, and it says, put in your thing. I go, okay, this is my thing, Spectrum. And it says, oh, Spectrum doesn't carry it. Oh, okay. So that really helps me out. Same thing with ESPN. So I don't watch it. It doesn't hurt me. It hurts them because I can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know why you're wasting your time on an NBA draft. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the NBA. There's no good players. I remember a few years ago, the Pistons, they were trying to get this real tall guy. I can't remember his name. And he's a surefire and he can't miss. And I never heard anything more of him. I don't think he's any good. these really tall, skinny guys aren't going to be any good because they get pounded around. But no interest. Really no interest in hockey anymore. No interest in basketball, uh, baseball. I mean, how many guys do we know? I mean, 10 guys, 20 guys in baseball. And we know football. Football, for some reason, holds our interest, even though they're trying to make it socialistic and racism. Oh, so if I write it in the end zone, that's going to end racism. There shouldn't even be racism. If you had free market economics, you wouldn't have racism because you don't care who your customer is. I don't care who my customers are. If you want to buy my football or take my class, I don't care who you are. Thank you for being a customer, and here you go. And I'll teach you because you want to learn. I'll give you my football picks. I don't see that you don't have racism with Austrian economics because all you care about is the customer and you don't care about them. I was talking to this girl in Alabama when I was leaving, and she was a African American girl. And I said to her, if you just call yourself a woman and not a black woman, there wouldn't be racism. But they want to color the black man, black woman, Asian man, Asian woman, instead of just man and woman. If you just said, these are men, these are women, there's no you wouldn't even have racism. But every time you say, oh, the black coach or the black this, the black that, or the brown this, or the Asian this, you're the ones making it a racist issue. So it's really ridiculous. They're drafting players from France. Who cares? Football still has a few players that are still popular. Well, it's once a week, although they're ruining that, trying to play it every day. See, they're so trying to make money. Oh, we can play Thursday night. We'll have every team play Thursday night. Well, you got every team playing Monday night, and you got every team playing Sunday, and the team. And now you're playing 17 games. It's a bit much. It's a very physical game. Oh, well, we'll try to take the injuries out. We won't have a kickoff. Oh, so we're going to change the game that everybody loves to something we despise you making the change. We despise your change in baseball when you start the 10th inning with a guy on second. That's a softball rule. Why are we giving anybody? So one thing about baseball, you had to earn your way on. Well, we'll give them second base. We want the game to end quicker. You want the game to end quicker. Why? What's the problem with the time? Oh, you mean the game sucks and you want to get it over with? Because if the game's really good, why would you want to end it so quickly? So it doesn't really make sense. But and God knows all the commercials, you'd think they'd want the game to go on for a month. Anyway, but football works because it's basically once a week, right? Mostly it's Sundays, Thursday night and a Monday night game. Okay, it's stupid. See, a guy like me who grew up with it on Sundays, and then they came up with Monday night football. Okay, that's what you're used to. You don't want to see Thursday night game. I don't go out of my way to ever watch a Thursday night game. I won't watch it. I won't watch. Depends on what channel Baltimore KC's on. If I got to go to the NFL Network, I'm not watching it. I'll go to Yahoo and click on the score, and I'll see the box score. When the game's over, I'll go to YouTube and I'll turn it on and I'll watch it in 15 minutes and see what the hell happened. But otherwise, I'm not wasting my time and my money by getting it on NFL Network or any of these stupid peacocks or whatever. And I'm not interested in Thursday night. It tires me out because I gotta waste 3.5 hours on Thursday night watching a game, and then my battery gets down, and then here comes I got a full slate of college and a full slate of pro Saturday and Sunday. and I don't want to I need that time to study Saturday and Sunday on Thursday night, not watch a game. So I'm not interested in it. And no matter even this game, Mahomes, I won't watch it. Like I said, it depends what channel it's on. I might watch a few minutes, but basically, uh, I'm not interested in going to a bar and watching it or anything like that. Um, but it's once a week, right? You might have Thursday games, Sunday games, and Monday games, but it's once a week. Kansas City plays once a week. Um, so I don't like this Sunday and then they play Thursday. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You need more than 4 days to recover. Like Sunday, you're in an ice pack Monday and Tuesday. You're not anywhere ready to play by Thursday. So you're on one hand, you're saying, well, we'll move the kickoff around so that we won't have injuries. You guys are making guys play on Thursday after Sunday. That's far more dangerous than the kickoffs. And you've taken off a very entertaining thing on the kickoff. The Anthony Davis kickoff return was very electric, right? That's why you like to watch it, but you've taken that out. Instead, now I got to watch a team that played on Sunday playing Thursday. Let's make betting a little bit harder. That's why I don't like betting the Thursday games. I don't know what I'm getting. You're giving these guys 3 days rest. It's funny. In baseball, they give them 5 days rest and 100 pitches. And in football, they're saying play on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll give you 3 days rest to play a football game. What the fuck's going on? What a bunch of idiots. Greg and John, now they have games on Friday. Do they have games? I don't think they have a lot of games on Friday. I mean, there was like a Christmas game, which I didn't understand because you have Thanksgiving and I mean, you could have Christmas if it lands on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I think it's just once on a Friday, not a regular Friday. That's ridiculous too. I'm not interested in watching football on Friday. I'm interested in watching it on Sunday. And you're throwing in a Monday night game. I have no interest watching a Thursday game or Friday game. Saturday's college. Okay. Now you're even doing that. At the end, you got Mac playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You fucked them up. I mean, I'd hate to, try to play on that. Now, one thing they do is they don't play Saturday. So if Toledo's playing Miami of Ohio on Tuesday, they didn't play Saturday. So they're totally fucked up. They played the Saturday before, then their regular Saturday they're not playing, and then they got to try to figure out how to play Tuesday. And they got to miss classes because they got to go to the other city. It's crazy. I keep getting some weird text. Anyway, so then we get to how do you bet this stuff, right? So you see the problem. You want consistency. You want every Sunday they're playing. It's consistency. I got Mahomes. He's playing. I got Burrow. I got Aaron Rodgers. It's consistency. I can bet it, right? That's why I kind of laugh at these people who want to do algorithms on football, and I just laugh. I go, you can't. There's too many variables. As we're talking now, this Thursday night game, how do you put that in the variable? How do you make it meaningful by saying, well, they played Sunday, now they're playing Thursday? And you're expecting the same outcome on Thursday as you would get if you did it on Sunday? I don't think so. So how do you bet it? I mean, that's why I like to stay with the Sunday guys. I stay with the Mahomes. I know what I'm getting with Mahomes. And that's why I did Montana, Lawrence Taylor, the Jimmy Johnson and the Niners in the early 90s. Never bet on Steve Young. He was terrible. But then you had Brady, but you also had some other teams in there. Manning a little bit. although you could bet him to choke. But really, what you're looking at is how do you bet? How do how do you gamble on? How do you win at it, right? So when I talked about gold, and we see the Mantle card at 72,000 for the 68 PSA 9, and we said, wouldn't you think gold's worth more than that? Of course, but that's that's the difference between the free market and this bullshit derivative market. And then when you get to, but we don't think gold will hit 72,000. The dollar will be long gone by then, but the purchasing power of gold will be able to buy that $72,000 card. And that's where we're getting into the value of gold at 72,000, and what gold can buy would be 72,000. So gold's going to go way up in purchasing, but what it will be able to buy, a car or a house, a Montana card, a Mantle card, and stuff like that. And that comes back to the gambling and the consistency. So in football, you got to find your guys. Now, there's a lot that came in this year. You can bet on Penix and you can bet on Bo Nix. You might be able to bet on Daniels. You can't bet on Drake May, and you can't bet on J.J. McCarthy, and you can't bet on Caleb. You can't bet those guys. But you have three new guys, Penix, Nix, and Daniels, who could be like Mahomes and Burrow and Aaron Rodgers, who we might be able to bet on. And then next year with Cam Rising and Gabriel will come out from Oregon, I guess, or what are they going to play 10 years in college? So look for Gabriel and look for Rising, and we'll see other guys. But that's what you're looking for. Your Rising turns into Mahomes. Oh, we can bet on Rising because he's a superstar. We can bet on Burrow because and that's where you're trying to get to. So in college, you can see a Rising, and you can see, even the Georgia and the reason is those are teams we can bet on. That's why I get very fundamental on those. Georgia and let's see, Ohio State this year, we can bet on them. We're not sure about that's why we worry about coaching changes. We could bet Nick Saban. I don't know if I can bet DeBoer. He was good at Washington. I made money, but I don't know. And then you got Oregon. They had a terrible coach. He keeps going for fourth downs. He doesn't realize it doesn't work. And for some reason, he wants to do it. And he keeps running up the middle, which is you're never going to make it there. You got to design a play that works. And it's not going to be let's run up the middle and try to get the play. That's not how you do a fourth down play. Not that you pass, but you got to be smart about it. It's got to be the Dave Casper play would work. You fake it into the line. The tight end kind of falls and gets up and goes across. Nobody follows them because they're all trying to get the run, and that's the only play that would work, I believe, is the Dave Casper play. Or the Packers sweep or something like that. Anyway, but that's what you're looking for. So we're always looking in college and pro for those players that we can bet on them that are very good. Like I said, the guy at the poker table said, I bet on the Stars. And I'm sitting there going, that's exactly what I do. But he didn't do it anymore, which I didn't understand. Well, there's still Stars out there. This was 10 years ago. You had Brady, you had Drew Brees, now you got Mahomes. So that's what you have. But why are we betting football? Well, we see all this disaster, what are you gambling? Okay. Why are you gambling? Because you got all this money that you make at your job, you pay your bills, and this is the excess money. and you want to make money with your money, so you gamble. And so when we look at football, yeah, I'll risk my money on Mahomes. Most people are idiots. Well, I think this team will win 6 games. I'm going to bet on them. Is your odds right? I have no idea. I'm getting 3-1 on it, so I'm betting it. Oh, okay. And really, that's the key to it is finding the Mahomes. We found the Burrow. We'll see about Bo Nix. We'll see about Penix. I think Penix is the real deal. Jalen Daniels will be good at Washington if they switch the offense to what he runs. So you almost got to go to the LSU offense and hire their offensive coordinator and bring in the LSU offense for Daniels because it worked. Instead, they'll give him some shitty offense because Washington doesn't even have coaches, and then he'll play bad. Well, yeah, because you're not running his offense. That's the problem. We saw with the Jets. I mean, Hackett runs the offense for Aaron Rodgers, but if Aaron Rodgers isn't the quarterback, nobody else can understand his offense. He's a terrible offensive coordinator, but it does work for Rodgers. So that's really what. And then they're trying to make the head coaches the offensive coordinators. Miami, San Francisco, the Rams, and then some guys who coached with them who it's a whole lot different being the guy who designed the system and other guys who don't know what the hell's going on. But why do we gamble? Because we want to make money with our money. We worked hard. But you can only work hard so much. So then we want to gamble on. We want to go play poker. We want to bet football. Some guys want to bet baseball. And you really got to see how hard it is to make money at it. That's why baseball is really hard. Football, not a problem. Gold, silver, not a problem. Stock market, it's all fixed. Madoff, it's a Ponzi scheme. If you don't know how you're making money, don't do it. Like if you run into a Madoff and you say, well, how do you make money? And he look, if you have a question, you probably shouldn't be in it. Your answer should be, yeah, you're probably right. Or it's a Ponzi scheme. So you leave your money in for a year or two and then you pull it out. You made your money. Okay, goodbye. Because anybody that, I'm anxious to tell you how to do it. I'm teaching you how to do it. And yet Madoff didn't even want you to know. What is that? That's ridiculous. So as I said, there's banking. You can gamble in the banking. You can gamble on Wall Street, right? Real estate trust and money markets and the banking and then stock market. You can gamble all those, but they're very highly, it's a lot of risk versus football, we actually probably is the least risk thing to gamble on the way I do it. So I'm trying to walk you through that you need variables to choose and determine how to pick. So that's what I got. But that's what we're looking for. So when I look at the football guide, I'm looking for Mahomes and Burrow type of players. And I can see them, Cam Rising and Gabriel and other quarterbacks. And that's why we look at the box scores. So the box scores tell, hey, this guy's 20-1. Like I got the guy on Coastal Carolina, McCall. The guy's a superstar, 25 touchdowns, 3 picks. Okay, I can bet on him. But if I don't read the box scores, I can't find them. But I read the box scores, I find them, and that's the whole point of the box score. 20 touchdowns, 2 picks. Yeah, we can bet on him. Who did they play? Now, if they played Northeast Central Louisiana twice, well, maybe its stats are skewed, which is what I got with these Alabama and Ohio State quarterbacks. The Alabama quarterbacks, Bryce Young did it against shit teams. Trevor Lawrence did it against shit teams. When he played the big boys, Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia, Trevor Lawrence never did anything, and neither did Bryce Young or Mac Jones or any of those guys. Jalen Hurts didn't do shit. He had to be pulled from a championship game. He was 2 of 20. So So anyway, that's really the key to it. Um, you have to figure out what am I using to predict the game. So if I'm going to buy a stock, if I'm going to gamble on stock, how do I choose the stock? Well, I got to look into it. Stocks go up because of the guidance that they're going to be worth more tomorrow than they are today. So they got a new, like Apple, I got a new thing and I'm getting into TV and I have my iPhone and whatever, and I got a new product. So everybody will buy it, sales will go up. Therefore, the stock should go up. And that's why these companies drop. They'll have good earnings, but then we don't have a new product. And next year, we think our sales are going to go down. Everybody jumps out of it. Right now, they're all manipulated. Apple and Amazon are bullshit. They're not worth it. And that's why these guys are billionaires, because it's their stock, because it's all manipulated, because they want to make it look like, oh, the economy's fine. Have you heard anything about a recession? We've been in a recession for 2 years now. Have you heard anything about it? No. Why? Because the government doesn't want to look like they don't know what they're doing. So they say inflation's 2% when it's 20. Oh no, there's no recession. And you know what? Inflation's going to go back to 2%. They're giving you a number that it's impossible to get to. Do you realize that you can't get to a number? You can't possibly figure out inflation like that. Then I was listening to some idiot and he said, oh, we've been like pulling money back. So instead of inflating it, we've been restricting it for the last, year or so. And I'm looking like, the hell are you talking about? Oh yeah, you mean the 21 trillion went down to 20 trillion? Yeah, that really helps. Keep talking about that fella. And then we've always had a stock market crash whenever we've slowed the money. And it's like you can tell he's a Keynesian because he doesn't know how to explain it. What does that have to do with anything? It's like comparing gold with the dollar. What does that have to do? There's no correlation. People don't buy gold because the dollar is going out. You do because it's manipulated, but you really aren't. I don't buy the Montana card because the dollar is going out. Why? Gold is just an asset. It's just like any other asset. But if it was a free market, it would be where the Montana card would be 100,000. But because you're holding it down, that's the problem with gold is you're keeping the price down. But that's the best. That's the best investment is gold and silver. But for some reason, see, that's how the scam is. They want you in money because then you're going to be in stocks or be in the banks. And since they run the government, that's where they want you, in the banks or in Wall Street. Go make your investment. And all these people make billions of dollars, the banks and the Wall Street guys, as long as you're in dollars. And that's why Attack on Wall Street guy, they didn't even give him an option of gold as he loses 60 grand. Oh, we don't care if you lost. That's the problem. In gold, you can't lose, but they don't want to tell you that. And they want to keep that price down. So it's just a joke. It's so much higher in demand and such a stronger price that it's really a shame. All right. I am going to do the Mac today. We did the SEC the other day, and I think we did the Big 10 and the Big 12. So we started off with the Akron Zips. There's not as much MAC. There's like 10 teams. And they got Ben Finley, who is, he's quartered before. Oh, he was at Cal. It wasn't much at Cal. But see, that's what I'll write in my notes, because at least he's quarterback. Maybe not good, but at least he quarterback. Akron was a Z team. Their coach, Joe Moorhead, is 4-20 in 2 years. Why do you still how did you recruit this coach? And then at what point do you keep him at 4-20? I mean, that'd be a very secure coach. I'm 4-20 and I still have my job. You got to be kidding me. The analysis: Akron games a year ago and lost three others in overtime. But the euro isn't necessarily pointing up in Joe Moorhead's third season. Akron is 7-47 in the last 5 seasons. And the non-conference site opens up three Power Four opponents: Ohio State, Rutgers, and South Carolina. Hardly Power Four. What happened to Power Five? Now it's Power Four. The win total may not climb past 2 this season unless the quarterback play. And yeah, well, I don't look at Rutgers and South Carolina as any good. There's better MAC teams. So they start at Ohio State. Now we know why Ohio State's 50-point favorites, and it makes sense. Then they go to Rutgers, where they can, I don't know, be a close game. Then they go, and it really won't mean anything if I talk MAC. So the best MAC team is Ohio and Miami of Ohio. And there's an East and a West, or not anymore. There's just a MAC. Okay. So they get Ohio. They don't get Miami of Ohio. So I don't know if that's a break. They're a Z team. They'll probably stay a Z team. They give up 55 to Northern Illinois, 41 to Bowling Green, 30 to Eastern Michigan, 35 to Kentucky. So not a good team. Now, as we were talking, who do you want to gamble on? And it's Joe Burrow and Mahomes. Who do you want to bet against? That's the other part of the equation. And we simply want to bet against teams like Akron, teams like the Lions, teams like the Bears, teams that have made mistakes drafting bad players, but they think they're good. Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. If these guys ever play, we'll be betting against them because they're not good, right? We know they're not good because we watched them in college. And we said, what the fuck did these guys get drafted so high for? And again, we see it every year. There's Sam Darnold. What the fuck? Now he might start at Minnesota. The guy sucks. But J.J. McCarthy's worse. And then, so you go down. Now you got New England with whatchamacallit is their quarterback. He sucked. Washington, Daniels, okay. Maybe he's good, but it's hard for a first-year guy to go out there. Carolina with Bryce Young, what are you expecting from him? The guy sucks. All of a sudden he'll do good. No, they're not playing New Mexico State. Sorry, they play real pro teams. Carolina, Atlanta got much better if Penix is there. New Orleans is good, and Tampa went to the playoffs. So who's Carolina going to beat? This is the problem. So that's the team we want to bet against. It's not always betting on teams as much as sometimes it's betting against the weak team. And we do that. We do that a lot in football. It doesn't work as much in baseball as it should, but in football it works a lot. Oh, you find that terrible team and you just bet against them. Oh, Akron, who are they? We're just going to take whoever they're playing and they'll win. All right, Ball State, Caden Samoza, a freshman. So obviously they're going to suck. I don't know their ranking off the top of my head. Mike New is 37-56, the coach. The analysis, there are a lot of question marks on the defense, which was the strength of last year's team. Knowles will need to find answers at multiple positions. If Ball State wants to earn head coach Mike New his third ball in 5 years, offensively, a lot will be riding on the quarterback position, whether or not Samoza is ready for the job, and he's a freshman, and I would say he's not ready. He might be good, but not a freshman going in. He's got the 4-year age difference, right? He's 18, they're 22. He's not close. So we will see. They open with Missouri State. I mean, maybe that's a team they can beat. At Miami, maybe they can beat them. Central, James Madison, Western, Vanderbilt, Miami of Ohio, and Ohio are good. And that's the problem with the MAC. There's a lot of bad teams, but they play each other, so it's hard. So you get the good teams, Ohio, Ohio and Miami of Ohio, maybe Toledo, maybe Northern Illinois, and you'll see how it breaks out. So this is a tough conference because anybody that's any good gets transferred to a Big Ten school or something like that, or an ACC school. So you find a really good linebacker and he leaves. So I'd say teams like the MAC and the Sun Belt are really hurt hard by this NIL stuff because, teams like Illinois, are they really losing a good player in the NIL? No, they're probably using a backup who isn't starting and he's crying, and so he goes to a different school, like a Missouri, like Georgia. These guys aren't losing good players; they're losing their third stringers. Well, like Georgia lost Fields, right? He transferred out because he's a crybaby because he couldn't beat out Stenson Benson, who wins 2 national championships. And then Fields wonders why he sucks at the Bears and he's going to suck at the Steelers because he's not good. But if he stays at Georgia, maybe he would have become better. And that's the thing they're not seeing. If Fields stayed at Georgia, he'd have been a better quarterback than playing at Ohio State with that system. Didn't help him at all. So anyway, that's Ball State. Bowling Green, Connor Bazelak, pretty good quarterback. The coach, Scott Loeffler, 20 and 35. Okay. Bowling Green is hoping to compete for a spot in the MAC championship game with a veteran defense and quarterback. The Falcons lost 5 games last season. The teams, including national champ Michigan, that combined a 59. So they're a pretty good team. So that's what we're looking at, MAC. Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio, Toledo. I'm not going to get into who they're playing. They do play Penn State, but otherwise, what's the point? Toledo, Central Michigan, Western Michigan. It's not like the SEC where they had to play Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama and Georgia. Then it made it. So I'm not going to get into the schedules as much. This will be brief. Buffalo, CJ Ogbonna is a senior. Never heard of him. Head coach is a new one, Pete Lambeau. Buffalo has a lot of moving pieces for new head coach. Pete Lambeau was a 5-year run in the MAC at Ball State and was 33 and 29. See, at least they get a coach that's coached before, and he was a winner. There will likely be some personnel movement in the summer as the Bulls have some inexperience, especially on the offense. Bull eligibility. Okay, so there's no point in they do play Missouri. Okay, so we can check that game. Check that. So Missouri will kill them. And so CJ, let's see. Buffalo they have a veteran offense on quarterback. Ogbagma played 8 games as a reserve in 23 and ran more than he threw. So again, you got trouble at quarterback, another guy that doesn't know how to throw. So I don't see much for Buffalo. Central Michigan, Bird Emmanuel. In his 3rd year, he's more of a runner. So you can see these teams with the runner. They were 5 and 7 last year with the running quarterback. That's the point. The quarterback needs to be a thrower. See, this is like baseball where they've taken it and switched from 300 hitters to guys that can walk a lot so we can tire out the pitcher. We don't want bunts and we don't want stolen bases, huh? And then we can tire out the pitcher by hitting a lot of foul balls and walking. Isn't anybody going to get a hit on the team? No, we're going to get no hit, but we're going to have 10 walks and the pitcher won't be able to finish the game because he'll be so tired because we're going to tire him out. What a strategy. And that's kind of what you got now. You got this running quarterbacks who can gain you 10 yards here and there, but in the red zone, they can't do anything and they don't win. And so it's it's like Lamar. Well, he's a good running quarterback. Yeah. How many playoff games did they win? Oh, yeah, 1. I think he won 2. And he's lost 6 or 7 and didn't do shit against Kansas City. So that's really what you're looking at is it doesn't work because if the defense wants to, they can take the run away. All they got to do is blitz you, and you're not running, and you can't throw, so you're useless. I would take a good. You take, look at Joe Burrow at LSU. They put up 50 points a game. He can't do that if he's a running quarterback, but if he's a throwing quarterback, he's got Chase and Jefferson. Of course, they're going to light. Nobody can see. Then nobody can cover these guys. That's what you're looking at. But if you have a running quarterback, you don't even have receivers because he can't throw to them. So he's going to run around. Well, the defense isn't stupid. They'll just blitz them. And, these defensive coordinators who spy should be fired because how can spying possibly work? The quarterback's running and you're standing there. He's just going to run right by you. The spy doesn't work. If you're going to spy, you're better off just blitzing him. Blitz the guy. Otherwise, to have him spy is just stupidity. That shows you how weak the defensive coordinator is if you see a spy. Okay, so Bird Emanuel, running quarterback, trouble for Central. Again, 5-7. See, against good teams like Michigan State, they lost 31-7. Notre Dame, they lost 41-17. Toledo, they got killed. Ohio, they lost. So, once in a while he's okay, but most of the time he's going to lose. And that's what's going to happen here. Eastern Michigan. Chris Creighton, record at school 52-68. He's been there 10 years, so you got a solid coach, solid system. Quarterback play was a major issue for him last season. And head coach Chris Creighton is hoping he has a solution. In Buffalo, graduate transfer Cole Snyder. Cole Snyder. So not bad. He's a senior graduate transfer. And in 2 seasons, he threw for 31 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Not great, but okay. They run the ball. Analysis: Eastern Michigan was disappointed with its 6-7 bowl game loss to South Alabama. Quarterback play figures to be improved, which in turn will help the running game. As the offensive line gets rebuilt, defensively, the Eagles should be solid. So now I have a good defense with a decent quarterback. I should be in all my MAC games. And is there anything they go? Well, they go to at Washington. I don't know what that. Why would they go to Washington? What are they trying to make the playoff? I don't understand that. Kent State, Tommy Ulatowski, quarterback. Tommy Ulatowski saw playing time in 10 games last season, including 3 late season starts. He threw for 200 yards in his first 2 starts and finished the season with 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's an RPO style guy. So not that good. This is what I'll see my ranking. Are they a Z team or not? So I have to fill that into my next, which is hard because I got to use last year's, and I really don't want to gamble on seeing a team that's an A team last year and then betting on them, or seeing a team that was a Z team last year who's made improvements and we bet against them because they're a Z team, and then we go, oh fuck, we didn't want to do that. So this is a perfect conference, this MAC, to find. It looks like we can find more Z teams like Akron and Kent State and teams like that, and just bet against them, especially in conference. That's the prudent way. So it's not always finding the A team in Mahomes and Burrow and betting on them. There's also finding the Z teams, which there are more in the MAC, and just bet against them. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Final analysis: Kent State extended Burns 1 year despite his 1-11 debut, showing a vote of confidence in his rebuilding effort. With 10 of the 11 losses by double digits, There's nowhere to go but up for a team that will travel to Pitt, Penn State, Tennessee in the non-conference. What the fuck? How far up will be dependent on the offensive line's development, this is going to be golden here again at Pitt, but then we get at Tennessee and at Penn State. They're going to lose by 60 points. Those are gold games. And then what? So when they play Eastern Michigan, they'll be ready, or Ohio or Miami of Ohio. See that's that. You got Z teams playing Penn State and Tennessee. And I'll tell you, Penn State and Tennessee have to win now that there's so many good teams in the SEC and Big Ten. They can't lose this game. They'll blow out Kent State. They can't afford to lose it. All right, Miami of Ohio. Now, this is a very good team. Coach Chuck Martin, he's 56 and 62 in 10 years. The league champs have their starting quarterback and offensive line back, plus the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Expectations for Chuck Martin's team are to return to the championship game for the third time in 6 years. The experience on hand. If the Red Hawks can shore up the defensive line, find some productive skills on offense, Miami will be a force in the MAC. Brent Gabbert is a good quarterback. So again, this is the A team in the conference. So as long as they're in the MAC, this is the team to bet. Let's look at their, they open at Northwestern. They could win. They get Cincinnati, but then they go to Notre Dame. What are they doing? Toledo, Ohio, Central, Northern Illinois, Bowling Green. So really, they just have to what they're doing with Notre Dame. But can they play with Notre Dame? I think so, because Notre Dame, their coach sucks. If Notre Dame had the Miami coach, they would do much better than they're going to do with their own coach. He's just terrible. Yeah, he gets good. Yeah, but what did he do? He had Hartman. What did he do with him? Nothing. He had Augustine. You got 17 points on Ohio State with Hartman. Oh, my God. That shows you how weak he is. Northern Illinois. Ethan Hampton, never heard of him. They got a good runner back, and Terrio Brown. Let's see. Quarterback will be a question mark into the fall as NIU looks for Rocky Lombard. So this is a new quarterback, Ethan Hampton. He was the backup last year. So they don't really have a good quarterback, which we know holds you up. The coach is Tommy Hammock. He's 24 and 33. So none of these coaches have a good record. There's no great coach. Final analysis, last season's 5-3 record in the MAC has the program back on its right trajectory. They used to win the MAC a lot, Northern Illinois. The Huskies need a quarterback to emerge to prevent defenses from loading up against the run. If the defense is near the top of the league again, they return to the – so here we got an under team. Strong defense, no quarterback, strong running. So this is Army and Navy. So again, we've identified the team. Right, and that's what you're really trying to do is find the variable. Are they an over? Are they an under? Are they an A or a Z? And that's what you're looking at. This is a pretty good team with no quarterback and a great defense, as was the other team. I think it was Miami of Ohio with a good defense. So they're probably more of an A team with a good quarterback. But that's what you're looking at. So you've got to be very – that's what you're trying to do is identify these teams, and then you can bet accordingly. So the betting's the easy part for us. The hard part's identifying the talent and if they're any good or what's their weakness. Are they a Z team, an under, an over, or an A? And provided you play them in conference, although that one team is going to go play Tennessee and Penn State, they're out of their fucking minds. They're going to get killed. I think it's Akron, but we're just going to bet a fortune against. We'll be laying 35 points. It won't matter because Tennessee's explosive and so is Penn State, and they have to win. So look for that. All right, Ohio. Ohio had 6 All-MAC selections last season. None of them remain on the roster. They got NIL'd out. The schedule makers didn't cut the Bobcats any break either. Ohio has difficult non-conference games. Kentucky, I wouldn't call Syracuse and South Alabama difficult. And MAC road games at Miami, Toledo, and Central. I wouldn't call Central too hard. It'll be the best coaching job if Albin leads the Bobcats to another 10-win season. Tim Albin is 23-16. They went 10-3 last year. They lost at San Diego State 20-13, lost at Northern Illinois 23-13, and lost to Miami of Ohio 30-16. The Miami of Ohio is the big team here. Peter Navarro, God, I've heard that name. So their quarterback, Curtis Rourke, transferred to Indiana, but not the coach. So they're losing their quarterback, and the running back went to Minnesota. So as I'm saying, if you're decent on these teams, they oh, you're a good running back, Minnesota, you're a good quarterback. They go to Indiana, and it's worth money to them because more pro scouts are going to see them at Indiana than at Ohio. So that makes sense. So Ohio is a good team, not a great team. Peter Navarro is a UCF transfer, Central Florida, a dual threat quarterback. No, and again, you got trouble, but hopefully he can throw. We will see. So I'll have to take a look at my stats from last year to see what he did. It's a beautiful spreadsheet when I pull the quarterback stats for every quarterback, and then I just have links that say, oh, take the Ohio quarterback, what's his name, take the name, and then how many touchdowns and how many interceptions. So it's all automated. I love it. And then it's just now I can change the name and see if I have stats on him, what he did. I'm a clever boy. So we'll see. Ohio, they only got two guys back on, offense and defense. They lost a good quarterback. Probably an under team because this coach seems to be good. Toledo, now they're usually a very good team. Tucker Gleason's the quarterback. The transfer portal hit the MAC runner-ups hard at the skill positions. League MVP DeQuan Finn, yes. He went to Baylor. Offensive Player of the Year. Penny Boone is headed to Louisville. So this is where I have a problem with the NIL when here's Toledo with good players and they've went up to Louisville, to Baylor, and then but what does Toledo have? So it's really hard. Losing your quarterback, top rusher, and entire offensive line makes it difficult to project another MAC championship for the Rockets. But Candle has proven that he can sustain success since taking over Toledo. There is talent at the skill positions on offense, and the defense should be solid again. How the offensive line develops will be this is a good coach, though. Jason Candle is 65-35. Remember, I was bitching there's no coach here with the winning record? Well, we found one. Toledo's a very good team in the MAC and keep them in the MAC. So let's see. They open against Duquesne, UMass, Old Mississippi State, Western Kentucky, and then it's all MAC. So they got a pretty easy schedule. Maybe Western Kentucky's, but they're really not better than a MAC team, right? So I can see them being pretty good with a good coach. It's the system he lays out, right? And that's the key to it. And that's why I bet you about Alabama and Ohio State. It's the systems laid out. Look at USC, right? You had Caleb. It was all system. We see Jalen Hurts sucks. We see Kyler Murray's okay. And now here comes Caleb, and it's all the system. Now here comes this guy I never heard of, go throw 6 touchdowns in the bowl game. So you want to think he's good? But it's like I got this good system. Just give me a guy who can throw the ball. And then people run at Caleb like he's really a good quarterback. No, he was in a good system that made it easy for the quarterback to excel in. but don't think he's going to be good in any system or that he's a really good quarterback, because he's not. And that's what you got to understand. And that's why I pick on him. The Ohio State system is terrible for these pros. Fields, I mean, look at him. Why does Fields stink in the pros? Because he got into us like, this is a guy that wasn't any good. He got beat out by Stenson Benson at Georgia. So he's not a good quarterback. He couldn't beat out Stenson Benson. He transfers to Ohio State, which is all, I got a good system here. I just need a quarterback who can run around a little bit. And so he did that. And then the pros draft him like he's some god. He's not. He's not. He's not. He didn't beat out Stenson Benson. Hello, McFly. He didn't beat him out. So therefore, how good can he be? And that's the problem, right? How good are these guys when they transfer out and they couldn't beat, had he beat out Stenson Benson, I was like, but he could. And then Stenson Benson, I'm looking to have a good year this year on the Rams if he gets to play. He's got good receivers. Pukanuka and the other guy are almost as good as what he had at Georgia, although he had Brock Bowers. But that's really the key to it is you got to identify that it's not the system. Like Missouri's got this guy Cook. He's the real deal. He's a great quarterback. There is no system at Missouri. Michigan, we see they just run the ball. So all he has to do is hand off. Yeah, he's a great quarterback. I'm going to draft him. All he's got to do is run. Wait, but we have Jefferson at Minnesota. We need a quarterback who can throw, not some guy who hands off. Terrible draft pick there. I don't know that McCarthy will ever play. I mean, if Sam Darnold beat you out, you must really suck, because Sam Darnold sucks. And then Drake may get beat out by Jacoby Brissett. Oh, my God, do you suck. Wow. I mean, take note of that, right? That's what you're looking at. You're trying to find the stars, and you want to bet against the weak teams. Western Michigan. There are a lot of returning experience for the Broncos, and unlike last season, the quarterback position appears to be settled. 500 record in MAC play and a return to a bowl game after 2-year absence are reasonable goals for second-year coach Lance Taylor. Hayden Wolf is the quarterback. Lance Taylor's first year is 4-8. We look at the schedule, and they got to be out of their mind. What is Western Michigan doing? So last year, they played Syracuse, lost 48-7, lost 41-10 to Iowa, got blown by Toledo, lost to Old Mississippi State. The rest is in conference. So you want to do what now? You're opening at Wisconsin, and then you go at Ohio State. Why are these games on your schedule? I don't understand Wisconsin, but I certainly don't understand why in God's name would you want to play Ohio State? What are you ain't going to upset them. What are we even looking? It's a payday. Just get on TV, get part of the TV money. So they're a pretty good team. I don't know about the coach, 4-8. I don't know about the schedule. So we'll keep an eye on them. Like I said, I'll go to my spreadsheet has all the important stuff. So that's my next level is I'm trying to dissect the team now to get our variables. And once I get that, it's going on the spreadsheet. And once it gets on the spreadsheet, then I can study the spreadsheet. And then I put the spreadsheet data here. So I'm going to add Ohio, Syracuse. I'm going to add A, Z, U, whatever they are. I've got the defense in. So I already have a good idea what the teams are made out of. I got Ohio as a 15 defense, Syracuse a 24. But the problem is in week one, I don't have anything. So I got to look at last year's, but with all the transfers and graduation, it's not. I mean, that's why I stick with Ohio State and Wisconsin and USC and Georgia because they don't change. Georgia's the best team this year. They were the best team last year. They won 2 straight. They're the best team because they got the best defense, good quarterback play, good running back, good receivers, best tight end. So it makes it easy to bet. You know exactly what to expect. There's no surprises. What are you going to get on Ohio, right? Oh wait, how are they? We're the one team that lost, like, what was it, Toledo, that lost half their players. How are their replacements? They're probably pretty good because it's probably a system. See, teams like Toledo, where it's a system where every year they win, it's fine. But that's okay. All their guys went, but they still are expected to do well. That's a system play. So that's what we're looking for. Is a good coach will run the system, and it doesn't matter. Like USC, believe me, it doesn't matter that Caleb went because they're all the same. This guy who's going to coach could be a lot better than Caleb. We don't know. Caleb sucked. Caleb is not good. He got sacked a lot. He lost a lot of games. They weren't even in a couple games. And, it's made for him to get 45 points a game. He didn't do it. Threw a lot of interceptions, had trouble when he played at Notre Dame and when he played Oregon. The better defenses, he didn't do shit. And that's really the whole point of it is, are they running a system or not? If they're running a system, we can figure it out, right? Ohio State system, USC system. We'll see the others. Alabama, I don't know. He was running the Washington system, and he made Penix look pretty good. Can Penix only be good in the Washington system? He wasn't that good at Indiana. Now he's good at Washington. Bo Nix sucked at Auburn, and he was great at Oregon. So again, we don't know, is it a system, and then does it translate to the NFL or not? These we don't know. I believe Penix and Nix, based on who they beat and the way they played, it wasn't really much of a system for them, and they should be okay. But that's why Drake May, what did he do that you would draft him so high? And what did McCarthy do that he got drafted at all? He should never have gotten drafted. He didn't do anything. They won despite him. So all I know is in the Georgia game, he threw some interceptions to lose. And then against the TCU game the next year, he was terrible. TCU, he threw 3 pick sixes. Do I forget? Yeah, let's forget that. Let's look at what he did last year. Yeah, he threw 5. He was 5'10" for 50 yards, and he handed off expertly all the time. The Penn State game, they didn't throw in the second half. Excuse me? When have you ever seen that in a big game? The quarterback not just handing off. That's how bad he is. And Minnesota drafted him another. Wait a minute, you had Kirk Cousins, now you're drafting this guy. Yeah, you really are clueless at drafting quarterbacks, aren't you, Minnesota? Well, we had Tommy Kramer and Fred Tarkenton. Why do you think they lost all these Super Bowls? Because they had Fran fucking Tarkenton. He would scramble because he couldn't read the defense. The key to reading a defense is Tom Brady. He gets to the line, he sees the hole, he goes and he audibles, there's the blitz, and then he takes it and gets rid of the ball. Him beating the Legion of Boom is the perfect example that he could figure out what to do against that defense because he could read it and he'd get rid of the ball as quick as he could. Otherwise, he was going to be sacked. Peyton Manning couldn't do that, could he? They lost by what, 80 points? He was so nervous he got a safety on the first play of the game because he wasn't even looking at the ball. But that's the point. You must be able to read the defense to be a good quarterback, and that's why I bark about it. That's not the system, right? The system is the guy the system's fields. He gets up, he doesn't know what he's doing. well, if they have 6 men on the line, I throw it, and if they have eight, I run it or whatever. And that's a system quarterback. They don't know what they're doing. So what we're looking to bet on is we're looking for two things: either the A teams or the Z teams, or the overs playing the overs and the unders playing the unders. We want Iowa State. We're going under, and USC against Colorado. We're going over. So we find the over teams. No, I'm not even worried. Colorado will be the same over team. They'll score a lot and they'll have no defense, as will USC. I'm a little curious with this UCLA defensive coordinator, but at the end of the day, you need players. So he might make an improvement, but not that much. You can only work with the players you got. So, and that's what we'll see. If all of a sudden USC gives up 10 points a game, we'll adjust. We'll make them an A team. Right now they're an over team. They open against LSU. There's no way in hell I'm not betting a ton on over in the game. It's 66. I'm going over 60. There's no way in hell I'm going to say, well, yeah, they have the UCLA defensive coordinator. They'll shut down LSU. Bullshit. You're not shutting down Brian Kelly. Alabama couldn't shut down Brian Kelly, right? Against Alabama, they put up like 50 points 2 years ago, and last year was 28 till the cheap shot on Daniels knocked him out. And the game still went over, but it was just a cheap shot where the guy hits him in the face, no penalties. They couldn't stop Daniels. He was dancing all over. He was running for 30 yards. He was throwing for 30 yards. That's it. But then you got to be careful too. In these system guys, you start drafting their wide receivers. That's just a waste of time. All the Alabama wide receivers, they all suck. They run a system, so they just go long. And in college, they don't have defenses, but in the pros, you're not running the seam. Look at Devontae Smith; he hasn't done anything in 3 years. Or Waddle has done a little, but not really. And this Winston guy on the Lions, problem is he catches a pass and then he's hurt. His feet hurt, or I don't know. I would have drafted LSU guys over that guy all day. Anyway, so that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm trying to teach you what is gambling. Why do we gamble? We gamble to make money because we have extra money to do it. And we're lucky. A lot of countries, you don't have any extra money. And we're not going to have any extra money soon as we go communist. Only these morons would make us communist. God, how do you go from capital? Well, I guess the Romans did it too. You really become a socialist communist country where we got to take care of the poor and the elderly. It's like, just leave them alone. Stop taxing the hell out of them. We got the biggest idiots running the government. So that's the problem, right? It's not hard to see. It's like a football team. You got a bad coach, and the team loses. You got a good coach, and the team wins. The problem is getting a good president, keeping him, and then when he leaves, to get another good president. And somebody needs to be able to sign him and hire him. Should just be like GM. This is the president I want, and he runs the company. And then he retires. I get another one that I do a search and I do it. That's how the president should be done. And you can't change the rule book, the Constitution. It's a gold standard. There's no central banks. That has to remain. You cannot make all these changes. And I'm sure that's what the founding fathers wanted. It said no central bank, only silver and gold. Why the fuck do you think they put it in there? Because they knew paper doesn't work and a central bank is communist. So what are you doing, man? Unbelievable. Because we didn't have income tax before the central bank. We didn't have inflation before the central bank. We didn't have depressions before the central bank and stock market crashes all over the place. So the bankers make all this money. Why? Why are they making all this money? Why is Wall Street guys making all this money? What kind of stupid game? I mean, that's not good for the country that the banks and the Wall Street guys make tons of money, and you know who they're screwing? They're screwing the guy who's putting their money in stocks and bonds and banking stuff. You're screwing a tech on Wall Street guy. That's why I don't play those games. I have no money in the bank. I have no money in the stock market because they're all fixed. There's no way I can win unless I get very lucky. The only way I got lucky was to bet on gold, and I figured out the trend that at 10 o'clock it would drop, and then at 10:30 it would start going up. I'd wait for the algorithm to start going up on the derivative, and then I'd go for the ride. And when it started coming down, I'd sell it. And if I made 30 cents on 1,000 shares or 70 cents on 1,000, I beat them. I won the game. That's it. Just quit a winner. That's how you get it. You just, all right, I made $300. I won. I made 700. I won. I made 2,000. I won. Very rarely did I lose because you're waiting for the algorithm to start going up. So I waited. So I didn't make as much as I could have, but it would go down, and sometimes it would keep going down, and sometimes it would double dip. It goes down and down and down. And then finally it starts going, and I'd watch it go 5-6 cents. And then I'd go, okay, now, or $5-6. I go, okay, now I can get in. And sometimes I'd get double dipped. And then I had to wait 3 or 4 days for it to finally get over where it was. But generally it was that. But then what happened is the stocks just kept going down, and the $60 stocks are now worth $35. And people think it's a bargain. And I'm like, nobody's buying them. It's not a bargain. Stocks only work as if there's demand, the price goes up. There's more demand in the physical than there are in the stocks. Well, why do you keep trying to get into stocks? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, what else? Let's see what our gold's doing now. Our paper gold. I love it. Like they think this is the actual gold price. All right. Paper gold, 23.27. You can see it does the little dance at 10 o'clock, and then it just doesn't do anything. Well, how does that work? Wait a minute. Isn't it? These are all options. So why is there no option after 12 o'clock? So it just sat there 23.24 to 23.27 since 2 o'clock. It's now 6 o'clock. In 4 hours, this thing's done nothing. Then it'll get going at midnight, the Orient, and then it'll be Europe's turn about 2 in the morning. And then it's the US's turn at 10 in the morning. So everybody gets their little chunk, and they're all on the phone price fixing. And silver's 28.98, so it's near 30. It's a derivative. It's gonna go up because they want it to go up, because they bet the derivative to go up. And when it hits 31.32, oh, we put a derivative for it to go down, and it's going to go back down. And so if you understand the rules of the game in derivatives, which now that I've explained it, you should, there's no surprise. You know what's going to happen until the game ends. When they need gold right now, they need gold to play the derivative game. If you don't have physical, you can't play. And they're just about out of physical between the central banks and all these new countries joining BRICS. They need more gold. You come on, you're joining BRICS. You need to bring in 10,000 tons of gold, or maybe 5,000 tons of gold, if you want to play. Because if you want to play with Russia and China and India, you got to pay us in gold. No, we're not taking your currency. We're not taking Venezuela dollars. You got to give us gold for everything you do in Venezuela or Argentina or Brazil, Morocco, half these countries. We don't want your fucking currency. We want BRICS currency. We want gold-backed currency. I mean, they don't want the U.S. currency because it's all crap. So you can see what's happening. So be patient. But what'll happen is the purchasing power of this will buy the Mantle card with an ounce. That's what will eventually happen. So will the value of the ounce of gold go to 62,000? don't know, but the purchasing power will. So you'll be able to buy this $62,000 Mantle card with an ounce of gold. But it doesn't mean that the gold will be worth $62,000 because there won't be dollars. The dollars won't exist because these idiots are printing it to death. And so once you print it to death, they don't exist, but gold keeps its value. The Mantle card will keep its value. It'll just switch from dollars to gold. So if you have that Mantle card, PSA 9, 1965, it's worth 60 grand. It's not going to zero. It's going to zero in dollar terms, but it won't go to zero in gold terms. And that's what half these idiots don't understand. Everything switches to gold. There's no barter. You can't barter something that you don't have a price on. I want eggs. Okay, so I'm going to give you what? A tenth of an ounce of silver? Well, you may be way overpaying for your eggs. I mean, you don't know. Anyway, so that's what we got here. 23, 28, up $30 for gold, and silver's up 26 cents. I love that. So gold's up $30, silver gets up 26 cents. What is that? Silver again will also do the same thing. As demand goes up, the price goes up. And right now we're stuck at this derivative bullshit price. It's not a real price. When does it go up? When they run out of silver to do the derivatives and it goes to a physical market. Once it goes to physical market, I can't tell you when that is. It'll be soon, and you'll be happy you have the silver and the gold. But you can't ask when, because it's an unfair question. It's a bullshit question, because Chevy didn't come out with a carburetor in 1958. It didn't come out till 62, and it'd be a Bel Air. I mean, that's what I feel like. My cousin Vinny, it's like, it's a bullshit question. I can't answer the question. And I don't know the rules of COMEX well enough to tell you that COMEX will go out now, but I can tell you that when COMEX, one thing you need is gold to do the options. Now you might control 96% of it with 4%. So you might have $4,000 controlling $100,000. But if you don't have the 4,000 in gold, you can't play. And that's what's being deleted. And so the game will be over soon. I can't tell you when, because it's a bullshit question. But I can tell you when it does happen, there won't be any drops, because nobody in their right mind is selling gold. The only people selling gold I see, somebody brings in a few ounces, they want to go pay their bills and get groceries. They're retirees and they're stupid enough to have their money in the pension, and they're selling their gold. And you're just like, when I go into the coin store, we just do a shake my head. I mean, it's classic Bobby. I look at the owner and he says they just come in and they sell it. And I go, and he goes, why do they sell it? I go, because they don't know. They don't understand. They don't get that this is paper and that their physical gold is so limited that it's going to the moon. They think the big price is 2,400. Oh, gold didn't do anything today. It's 23, 26. It's fucking options. What did you expect? What are you expecting? This is not physical. This is not a Mantle card. And by the way, how the hell does a Mantle card, PSA 9, 1965, become worth 60,000 and gold's worth 23, 26? What's wrong with that picture? Anyway, go watch the Roman video if you haven't seen it. I thought it was my best video. It was just perfect. It really explained it. And it's kind of, we're right there. We are, Rome and us are the exact same spot. And Biden will start burning down cities to put up marble statues of himself. And oh God, maybe Caligula will be our new president, or Nero. Jesus Christ. All right, well, that's about it. So plenty of time to study college football. It's only June, which doesn't start till the end of August. No news on the job. I think it'll happen after July 4th. I'm trying to pin Daria. She asked me to wait to meet. She said, can you give me a little more time? I said, of course. So it's just, I don't want to I have to meet Daria if she can make it because her mom's got to fly in to watch her daughter. So I can't have the mom fly in and then say, "Yeah, I'm meeting Jenna instead." So I'll give her one more time this weekend, saying, "Do we just have a idea?" Because I hate to keep bothering her. Do we have an idea the when we're going to meet? She does want to meet. I mean, that's not a question. It's not a scam. And I'm really excited to meet her, and she's excited to meet me too. But it's just we got to wait for the mother because the daughter's not coming. So we'll see. But probably I'll meet Jenna in a few weeks and then get her out of the fucking war for a while. But she won't come here. It's crazy. She won't. I said, "Why don't you come?" She said, "Well, maybe I can come for a month." And I'm like, "Okay, come for a month. I'll take it for a month." And then she wants me to go there, which I can't because there's a fucking war on. I'm not gonna live in a war, even though she doesn't get troubled by it that much. She's in a different city, and that's not any of the cities that the Russians are going after. She lives in a Ukraine city. So there in the Ukraine, there's cities with Russian people and cities with Ukraine people. So if it's a Ukraine city, Putin doesn't want it. He's got a big enough country in Russia, but if it's a Russian city, he wants to get him back, and that's what he's not at war. He doesn't want Poland and Hungary and anything like that. Greg and John. I had water and chicken today and corn. Vegan water. What is vegan water? You watching the debate tonight? No, I would not waste my time, and you'd have to put a gun to my head to watch the debate. What is vegan water? Water's water. What do you mean vegan water? And then you're eating chicken, so I thought vegan didn't eat meat. Water and chicken today and corn. I'm not crazy about the corn. Corn's not a good vegetable to eat. It really is. You want to eat your broccoli, your celery, your red peppers, your mushrooms, your onions, more of the green root than corn. I don't eat corn's a waste of time. It goes right through you. It doesn't serve a purpose. It doesn't fill you up, and there's no nutrients to it. So you probably want to switch it to broccoli or switch it to pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper. I eat a lot of that, and I fry it up. No, I wouldn't watch the debate. No chance. Is Biden going to be awake? Or, Biden will be aggressive. But then, see, here's my problem with Biden. You'll see him on these little shots, and he's falling down, and he doesn't know where to exit, and he's falling asleep. Then you see him on the debate and he's all fired up, and you're going, is it the same guy? Is he on drugs? What? This is not the same guy who's falling down the stairs. So it makes you wonder or the guy who's shitting his pants or whatever. So you just wonder, what in the hell? Who is this guy? Is this a double? I think it's a double. I don't think this is Biden. In the debate, it'll be some robot guy. Or it'll be some other guy who's a double for him, and but it ain't Biden who falls down. That guy doesn't know what day it is, so he'll say how good the debt is. Oh, we've cut the debt in half. It went from 36 trillion to it's 36 trillion now. See, look how good we've cut the debt, or the deficit, or this other idiot. We've slowed the printing of money. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, from 21 trillion to 20 trillion, 900 billion. Yeah, it's really coming down there. So the inflation's over. Phew. Inflation is inflating the money supply, and it doesn't go away. It never goes away unless you come out with different currency. So unless you come out with currency backed by gold, the inflation does not go away. It's 20% now, and it only goes up because you got to print, which is hard to believe because they're printing $1 trillion a quarter to pay for the debt. How the fuck are you not printing? Doesn't make any sense. So I wonder how they're keeping score. Again, it's I don't have it here, but it's M2 is what you're looking at. Savings accounts plus checkings accounts plus cash is what you're measuring, and it's 21 trillion on its way up, not down. I don't know why they keep saying down. They're all excited, like, oh, the money went, yeah, but it went down like $1 billion, so it's at 20 trillion 9 to 20 trillion 8. Like that's a big, yeah, okay, that'll solve our inflation, dude. You got 20 trillion, 21 trillion. You're fucked right there. That's inflation. The value or the purchasing power of the dollar is not the value of the dollar. The dollar gets printed, it loses value, which then loses purchasing power, which then raises the prices because it takes more dollars to buy it. Well, sorry, but reducing inflating the money supply going from 21 trillion to 20 trillion 900 billion does not move the needle as far as inflation. I love how they say, well, it's too many dollars tasting too few goods. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because there's services and you have too much dollars out there because you have another 130 trillion all over the world, so they could use this petrodollar, which is now gone. So, inflation's so high, it's ridiculous. You can see it. Well, I went to the grocery store yesterday. What did I get? I got something. It was ridiculous. It was, what did I get? A can of soup was $2.35. I don't normally get it. But see, the way I shop, it's all vegetables and a little bit of blueberries, which I only get when they're on sale, or strawberries, and then and that's about. I don't get the cereal or the cookies or all the crap and all the ice cream, and I just stay away from it. Excuse me, I am just so tired. But please don't watch the debate. Yeah, I got a question, Greg and John, between the NBA draft and the debate. I think I'd rather watch the blank screen. Really, there's no movies. You can go put on Tubi. You can watch Attack on Wall Street or Meet Joe Black. I'm watching Meet Joe Black. And after I watch Joe, I want to run out and go buy peanut butter. But then just turn on a good movie. I don't know. Study your football. Go to the lake. Whatever. Anything's better than the NBA draft and a debate. How can you watch the debate seriously and not laugh your ass off? Did the Romans have debates? Did Caesar tee off against Caligula? That would have been a good one. I'm stoic. You're not. I win. All right. I think that's it. Almost 2 hours. Really tired. Need to have a little bit of dinner. I had a late lunch. I didn't eat. I went swimming and on the bike, and I got done about 2:30. I'm thinking, okay, if I go to Coney now, I can get a hamburger and chili. I really don't need dinner or very little dinner. So that's kind of what I've been doing, is not eating breakfast, eating middle of the day, and then not really eating dinner. I might have a hamburger, but that's it. Am I watching Trump? I just told you no. You asked me if I'm watching the debate. I said no. I'd rather watch Meet Joe Black or Paint Dry. So no, I'm not watching Trump. I don't watch Trump. I don't want anything to do with Trump. He's as big a maniac as he's a different type of maniac than Biden. Biden's just an idiot. He's destroying the U.S. Trump is an idiot that's destroying us in a different way. But no, I wouldn't waste my time. I'll probably do football stats and turn on a movie. I got a half of Me Joe Black left to watch, and that's it. I did watch the best Die Hard. The Die Hard one was the best, and Die Hard 3 is right after it because they're stealing the gold. So you just have a warm place in your heart about that. But just funny, nice revenge movie. You killed my brother. I'm gonna kill you. Although I hate Samuel L. Jackson. Meet Joe Black's a very good movie. I mean, I love the daughter. She's so pretty. And she listens to the dad. You can't be with Joe. Yes, Daddy. I will dump him because you said so. And you're like, oh, you God. Seriously? Um, Anthony Hopkins. He does play it well. You think he's actually some rich guy. And Joe Black, if I talk like this, I'm death. And if I talk like this, I'm the guy at the coffee shop. And you're like, hey, no, you're Brad Pitt. You got to go do a robbery. I saw The Gambler the other day, the ones with James Caan. What channel was it on? Because it was on Tubi, I thought, or Pluto, and then they took it off at the end of the month. So what channel is The Gambler on? And it's got to be the James Caan one, not the other one. But wasn't it nice to see Vegas in 1973? I cry. I see the Stardust sign light up and change colors. It's what made Vegas Vegas. Now it sucks. How do you ruin the Strip? Unbelievable. So where did you see it? Hello, Greg and John. Yeah, he just passed. So what channel was it on? But the thing is, I don't like is what they make gamblers like. He screws over his family. He leaves his girlfriend. It's the same old. He loses. He's got to pay it back. He has the money, but he loses that instead of paying it back. So instead of paying it back, he bets 50,000 on the Lakers. You're like, yeah, maybe you should have paid the money back. And where are you betting this kind of? The guy makes $1,500 a month. He's betting $45,000 on basketball games. You make $1,500 a month. Crackle TV. What's that? I'll have to look for it. Is that on the normal Tubi channels? Do you pay for it or is it free? I'll have to look for that. Is it Snap, Crackle, and Pop? Like, do you get the Rice Krispies? It's a free app. All right, let me look for it. Because I know these movies rotate around. I'm waiting for the Batman to come back. It was on Netflix, and then it went to Tubi, and then it got off of Tubi. So I'm waiting for that one to come. That was a good movie, but they're not doing the next one until 2025. It's crazy. Well, yeah, but Pluto is a ton of. I can barely watch Pluto because they'll go. Well, there was something on Pluto I was watching yesterday, and it was every 5 minutes there was like 6 commercials, and you just and YouTube does it. You watch a movie on YouTube, and the difference is if you're on Pluto or Tubi, the commercials play, right? There's 6 commercials, and you don't skip them. The problem with YouTube now is if you're not there babysitting, you can skip it after 5 seconds, but then you get these ones, you're in the kitchen or something. It's a 10-minute commercial or 20-minute commercial. And you got to go skip the commercial where the other ones, at least there's 6. You can't control them, but they're not usually in 2 or 3 minutes, they're done. Yeah, the new Batman was good. It took me about 5 times to figure out the movie because it was so confusing, at least the beginning, and then you finally realize it. YouTube TV, it's $70. The fuck you paying $70 for YouTube TV for? That's insanity. Now, I thought YouTube, if I take out the commercials, is like 11 bucks a month. That's what I think it is. Because it really sucks when you're driving and you're listening to your music, and you got your YouTube library, and then you're constantly hitting the song ends, and then it's 5 seconds and then skip. So you're watching that as you're not watching the road, and then you're skipping to get to the next song. I don't think the music should have the commercial in it, because you're gonna cause a lot of accidents. Yeah, I have cable, but why would you pay $70 for you? So do you have cable, or I assume you got rid of it? But then do you got ESPN? So how do you watch the football games on ESPN? You don't have ESPN on YouTube. Now, is that the TV, YouTube TV, or is that all the YouTube that I watch um, commercial free? So there's YouTube TV, and then there's YouTube. Go watch the gold video, or go watch me, right? Can you see me on YouTube TV after I'm done, and then you go watch it? You just don't watch it live? Okay. Well, I'm not paying $70 for YouTube TV. That's insane. See, what I don't like is they're trying to drive you to it, because they show all these commercials now, and you're like, I'm not gonna pay for commercial free. Go fuck yourself, because you're putting all these commercials on. I'm not gonna do it. But as ESPN, well, then it must be something else. I don't know what it is. But see, I don't see, now you're paying for ESPN and TNT in the YouTube. I just want to get YouTube. I don't want to get those. I don't want to pay for ESPN. It sucks. I don't like it, or TNT or TBS. And that's where the problem is. So $70, 20 of it probably goes to ESPN and TNT. I just want to pay for YouTube. I don't want to pay for the rest. That's why I don't have anything. I just have the Roku set up, and then there's apps there, and I get Tubi and Pluto in the apps. The only thing I pay for is Netflix, which I'm really struggling with. They got nothing on. How many times can I watch, Money Heist? I mean, okay, it's enough for, yeah, I get it. They steal the gold. YouTube is like 11 for commercial free. Yeah, that's what I think. So I might go to that, but I don't know. Netflix is the only thing I have Netflix for, is for Money Heist. But how many times can I watch Money Heist? I've seen it. I get the plot. I get the ending, and I'm the professor, so I don't know. Otherwise, there's nothing on it. There's nothing worth. Uh, what I do like about Tubi is they switch in the middle of the month. They give you, good movies. You might lose a couple, but you get different ones on there. Like Meet Joe Black will come off at the end of the month, but I might get it in a month again. And then there'll be new movies that come on. So anyway, we will have to see. All right, I'm going to go have some dinner. And anyway, so if you understand the gold and the silver, that it's derivative and not real physical, like eBay, then you won't get all, why isn't it, when's it going up? It's going up when they get rid of the derivatives, and they're getting rid of the derivatives very soon. And I don't know the exact date. All right. I would pay for the Tubi free, like $5. Yeah, I would too. I would. They don't offer it, or at least I don't see it. I would pay for Pluto and Tubi $5 for commercial free. Exactly. I would do that, and that's probably coming. But I don't know. There's way too many commercials and everything. I don't know. I don't get the advertisers. Seriously, what do you, and then some of these products, I'm like, you got to be kidding. They're terrible. All right, I'm out of here. I will see you tomorrow at, I guess, around 3 o'clock ish. The weekends will be at 11. I'm so screwed up. I think today's Friday. I thought it was Friday. I really screwed up. When you're not working, like Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't know what day it is. Is it Tuesday today? Is it one? I know Monday I did my unemployment. Tuesday I got it. I checked it. I think that was Wednesday was yesterday. Thursday's today. Then tomorrow will be the new Mark McGuire. And he'll be alone, so it'll actually be a good episode. Otherwise, I think that's about it. So have a good night. www.teaserking.com. Baseball. Again, we've got the Cubbies under 7.5. Atlanta, Philly, Cleveland, and Baltimore under 7.5. It was a very limited schedule this week. Detroit, I got under 8. I didn't bet it. They selling their horrible products. Okay, see you later, Greg and John. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.